Hello everyone, Jovan Smith here, and I am here today with Mahesh of Zastrin, and he is developing some tutorials, some course material for the Tezos ecosystem, a set of some videos, and some documentation. Now, would you like to introduce yourself, Mahesh?
Yeah, hey everyone, this is Mahesh from Zastrin.com. It's an online school for learning blockchain programming. And I am super excited to be publishing soon a course on Tezos blockchain and how to build a decentralized application.
Now, Mahesh, you've done this before in the Ethereum ecosystem, right? Unofficially, this time you have some support by the Tezos Commons Foundation, but unofficially you do this for Ethereum. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so I got started um, with blockchain a few years ago. I read the Bitcoin paper probably 4 or 5 years ago, and then after that, when Ethereum came out, that was like the first blockchain platform where you could actually write smart contracts and build decentralized applications using like a higher level programming language. Um, so I got excited about that, and then I started tinkering, and then I started publishing blog posts, tutorials, and eventually I started creating full-fledged courses on Ethereum. So I've been doing that for over 15, 18 months now.
Really?
So
Oh,
yeah, so that's how I got started in a nutshell.
very nice, very nice. How did you get in contact with, so you have official support by the Tezos Commons Foundation. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so when Tezos launched in AlphaNet, I started looking into it, and it was like super interesting. And then I have an ex-colleague, Corey Seref, on the board of TCF.
Tokyo on Rails. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I reached out to him, and then we started working together. And then TCF has this formal grant process. Um, so I applied for the grant, and then gave them an idea of what I want to do, and they liked it, and that's how we got the ball rolling.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. We are certainly glad to have you because we are most definitely building in the Tezos community. All right, so can you tell me more about the documentation that you're going to be building? What is it? What does it involve? What does it entail? And how does it benefit the ecosystem?
Yeah, so the course I'm creating is it's getting started with Tezos um, development for building decentralized applications. So it's going to take you through an Tezos primer, like explaining all the core concepts of Tezos, all the pieces and how they all come together. And then after that, I introduce you to liquidity programming language, which we will be using to build your smart contract. And then it goes through the process of writing the smart contract, compiling, deploying it to the BetaNet or AlphaNet actually. It doesn't matter which network, but you can deploy it to the network, and then you can. It will also teach you how to interact with your smart contract, and then finally you will build a web front end using EasyTZ.js. It's a JavaScript client to talk to the blockchain. So we're going to use that, and then you'll learn how to use that to interact with your smart contract. So we're going to essentially build an entire web application, a decentralized web application.
Yeah, this is really cool stuff. So what's like the timeline on the release of this course material?
I'm hoping to release it in the next 1 week or so.
Okay.
It's mostly done, so it should be good to go next Monday or in another week or so.
Awesome, awesome. Can you? So what are some of the disadvantages and advantages of using the Tezos platform for developing decentralized applications?
Um,
If there are any advantages or disadvantages, just in your opinion.
yeah, so one of the things which is interesting is with the Tezos blockchain itself, it is a smart contract platform similar to Ethereum, um, but it's proof of stake. Um, for development itself, it doesn't mean anything, but as a technology, it's kind of cool to see a proof of stake system like that in live
Sure.
in production,
Yeah.
and also um, just the concept of just things around governance, and which is the core of Tezos, how the protocol will evolve. That's exciting. And from the developer standpoint of view, the exciting part for me is using a functional programming language like Liquidity, which is very similar to OCaml. I have some experience with writing functional, like working with functional programming languages, and I'm a big fan of it. I like the concept around it, and that's what excites me, building applications on that language.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's from my understanding, I'm not a programmer at all, and I have no experience in development or anything like that. But because I don't come with any bias, I kind of understand why OCaml and why these functional programming languages kind of have at their core a lot more, they're a lot more safety. It's kind of built in. It makes you. From what I understand is that when building an OCaml, writing programs and stuff,
Mhm.
it makes you think about the code you're writing more. Is that fair to say?
Well, I mean, you're still are thinking about the code regardless of what programming language you use. It's just that one of the benefits of building on Tezos is like there is like there's something called the formal specification.
Okay.
Which
Now,
will,
hold on real quick. Is formal specification different from formal verification?
I meant to say formal verification.
Okay, cool. So is that a live thing? Is that now?
Well, uh, yes, it's formal verification is not like any software or technology or anything. It's a concept
Okay.
which can be applied easily to language like OCaml or Liquidity,
Okay.
which is not like 100% foolproof. You will still have bugs in your code, but at least it will help you. It will take you farther than other languages which doesn't support formal verification.
Okay.
So the chances um, of you having bugs in your code is less than some of the other languages.
Cool. Very nice. Thank you for that explanation. Just a few more things. How do you think the course material and this documentation will help the greater community? How can you explain that to our viewers? Why this matters?
Yeah. So if you go, let's say you want to build an application on the Tezos platform right now. So first of all, like it's still a new system. A lot of things are moving. A lot of things are changing. There's no one place where you can actually go refer and build your entire application. You have to either learn the Michelson language or you go on the Liquidity language website, learn to implement the smart contract. You go back on the Tezos and figure out like how do I deploy this. Then you go on the easy GitHub repository and see, okay, now how do I like piece them all together. There's no one place where you can actually learn this whole thing and like build it. It takes a lot of effort. It took for me to piece all of these together, like talking to core developers, talking to various developers of different platforms, different software. So what I'm doing through this course is like combining all of them into one place, so other developers don't have to spend all that time to go to each of these repositories, talk to everyone. Like I'm doing all that work so they can get started and then build on top of it and then build more complex applications.
And so all of this course material can be found at Zastrin.com, is it?
That is correct. Yeah, it will be published on Zastrin.com.
Okay,
and,
cool.
It will be on the homepage, hard to miss. So.
Very nice, very nice. And I'll most definitely include a link of all of this stuff, anything that needs to be referenced or anything like that at the bottom of this YouTube video. I do want to keep you around for a few more minutes and ask you a couple more questions if you don't mind. What is the most exciting attribute for you about the Tezos protocol? Is it the on-chain governance mechanism? Is it formal verification? Is it proof of stake?
For me, I think formal verification and just using these languages to build is, as a developer, it's fun, it's cool. So I like that one part. On-chain governance, it's an amazing concept. It's a big experiment because it hasn't been proved yet. But I am just thinking about it. Initially, I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like on-chain governance, like someone is going to like suggest something, propose a code and attach a receipt. and everyone is going to just vote on it, and it will just yes or no. But it's more complex than
It's
that.
more complex than that, isn't it?
Yeah. So
Very
as
nice.
you dig through it, I'm like, you know what? I think this is interesting. Like I still don't know if it's how it's going to work. Like no one knows. I don't think it has gone through the motions. But like the more I read and I get excited, and I think there is some extra. So I'm excited about that part. Apart from just using OCaml or liquid kind of language, just as from a developer point of view, learning these, it's like new tie for me. So formal verification. So that part excites me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
proof of stake, it's cool to like see. I know Ethereum is moving to proof of stake
The
soon.
Casper protocol, correct?
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. But Tezos right now has proof of stake in production, so which is fun. Just to, as a, just to have if you're intellectually curious, if you just dig into how Tezos proof of stake works, like the concept of baking, everything it's very fascinating. As a technologist, it's fun. So that's what I'm excited about.
Very nice, very nice. So yeah, so there's a lot of confusion around, you know, what kind of proof of stake variant is Tesla's implementing. There are other blockchains out there with proof of stake. As a matter of fact, I think even Dash has a form of governance, right? But Tezos is a very complex platform. It's much more complex than anything else out there. Some people consider it a third generation platform, and so the voting and everything that kind of develops on there will take a completely different route. And the voting, kind of the weight of votes, is based on stakes and things like that in a way. And so that's going to be interesting to see how the politics play out. No matter what, though, it requires an 80% vote for any proposal changes over, like, I think a 4-quarter vote period.
Right.
And so you don't get to choose. So once the 80% is in, the other part of the community, the 20% that didn't agree on that, don't get to choose to break away from the country, for example.
Right. Yeah.
That's not an option. And so for everybody that wants to know why this is important, we're avoiding hard forks by having an on-chain formal kind of governance mechanism. The fact that it's implemented and that it's there will allow us to kind of move forward on a united front, no matter the differences that we may have. Because when we have a hard fork, and Mahesh, you can attest to this, when you have a hard fork for simple things like, proposals, upgrades to the protocol, okay, give me a second, pardon me. When you have those kind of issues, it can split the network, disrupt network effects and value. Would you agree?
Yes, I mean it happened with the Ethereum when ETC split off, and then Bitcoin with BCH. There's still majority of the people follow the, the core developers, whatever chain they support, they do it. There is both pros and cons to this. Like people have really smart people, smarter than me, have debated on like, is this on-chain governance is going to work? Like there are good arguments on both sides. Like, is it going to work or is it not going to work? So I don't think I'm qualified to say like, yes, this is absolutely going to work or it's not going to work. But
Right.
I'm like very optimistic, and I think it will work the way Tezos is approaching.
All
and
right.
when I said proof of stake, this is one of the like the. I didn't mean this was the first. Tezos was the first proof of stake.
Right.
Deployed, but the way with the smart contract platform and proof of stake, like this whole combination, it's one of the first one. As I said, it's pretty complex and it's impressive.
Thank you for that explanation. I appreciate that. That was great. In terms of Tezos being a proof of stake platform, is it delegated proof of stake? Is it liquid proof of stake? My opinion is that there's a form of both, right? So you can have delegation, and then you can also have liquid proof of stake. From a delegating point of view, right? This is a baker that's running a node. He's bonding up. But from a staking point of view, kind of it's like constituents. It reminds me of Congress. Can you tell our viewers more about this?
Yeah. So the interesting design is it's delegated proof of stake. But
yes. No, actually, it's proof of stake with delegation.
Correct. I was going to say, so the difference is like there's no like fixed number of delegates or anything. Like I could just fire up a node and then start inviting people like, hey, or if I have enough Tezos, I could just stake that and then start baking, or and I could mark myself as a delegator and just invite others to like stake with me. And so so when everyone says delegated proof of stake, I'm like, oh, it's proof of stake with delegates. It's a little different from
Yeah.
a lot of the other ones. So um, yeah.
Yeah, so we can wrap up here in a moment. But what's really cool about Tezos is that it's a liquid proof of stake as well, because the liquid proof of stake comes in at the moment that you kind of create a KT1 account. Now, I've seen KT1 accounts with 100,000 Tez in it. That's 10 rolls essentially. They could be baking on their own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But sometimes it's really complex to kind of get these things up and running. Now that's what you're dealing with, right? So you're developing a lot of documentation to show folks how to do this, but there's going to be folks that don't want to do it. They're just going to want to probably use the Galleon wallet, the Cortez, or something like Tezbox to simply stake with. And with 100,000 Tez, you can do that and grow your stake. You know, you can get paid rewards for basically allowing somebody to bake on your behalf and validate blocks and secure the network. So I think we're at 84% network staking right now. And why it's liquid proof of stake is because that's liquidity. That's a KT1 account. He can spend and send and receive those Tez as much as he wants. He can send them to an exchange while in his delegation in a way.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I think it's an interesting concept. I don't think any other, at least I don't know of any other blockchain.
No, this is the Tezos only. Yeah.
Yeah. So which is pretty cool.
All right. Cool. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, I'm just excited for publishing this course, and I would love to get all the developers look at this course and give me feedback if they have any, and I'll be constantly updating this course, keeping it updated, and adding more content and evolving it. So it's a new technology and it's exciting. So there's a lot of moving parts. So I'm excited.
All right, guys, you guys heard it here first with Jovan. Mahesh Murthy of Zastrin.com. Again, he is developing course material, which is for interested developers to develop decentralized applications on top of the Tezos platform. Hopefully, this will launch next Monday. Correct?
Yep.
All right, cool. And so we'll keep you guys posted. I'll put some references at the bottom of the video. Mahesh, thank you for coming on and all that you do for the Tezos community, and hope to have you back on the channel.
Thanks for having me, Jovan.
You're welcome. Have a good day, bud.